Hi guys, Harry Sunday here, letting you know that there's a apparel company that supports the game that you love. It's called There Is Only One Football.com, guys. They've got all sorts of stuff from caps, t-shirts, water bottles, all sorts of accessories, even for your mobile phone. All that sporting stuff you can wear anywhere you want to wear it, guys. That's right. And don't forget the website it's on, thereisonlyonefootball.com.
There is only one football!
Celebrate! We're here to celebrate tonight, guys. That's on a football list tonight, guys. A gentleman who's played Premier League football and indoor soccer, if you want to call it as well. Dane Sharp, guys, will be on very shortly. Now, if you come in, clap your hands if you can, boys and girls, outside there. Hup, feel it. Check it out right now. Hup. No, she bangs. It's not she bangs, okay, boys? Hup. Here we go. Hup, hup, hup. The cup of life. This is the one. Now is the time. Don't ever stop. We should've known. Gotta be strong. We should've known. Right from the top. And when you feel the heat, the world is at your feet. No one can hold you back if you really want it, Tony. I see. There goes the red light. I thought it was a red card then. Kenny, do you really want it? He wants it, all right, guys. Dane, here we go. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Ali, Ali, Ali. Good. We are the people. We are the passion. We are the history. We come from the NSL, the A-League, wherever you want to be, at the NPL, or wherever you are. It's our way. The highway football list is live tonight, guys, gentlemen. Welcome right to football list. People, it's our way. The highway football list is live right now. Check it out, guys. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What an intro there, of course there, Dane. Welcome to Football List. Congratulations on your number one hit. And of course, Tony Goodwin, the Socceroo Dad. And of course, gentlemen, great Scott, it's Kenny Wilson. Welcome, guys. Oh, the crowd has gone. I can hear the crowd on this side, but you guys can't hear them. They've gone berserk, mate, on this side. It's unbelievable, guys. I tell you what, Dane, your story, mate, your story is that you're a muso, you're a footballer, they call it a soccer player. I'm a muso, I'm a host of a show now. Mate, we're in the same boat here, apparently.
Well, lost brothers, bro.
Oh, I can't believe it, eh? I just can't believe everybody that you work with, I've worked with, but we've never met, so that's the thing. It's funny, isn't it?
Oh, small world. Besides football world, music world, very small. It's
exactly. Yeah.
2 degrees of separation.
Mate, honestly, I have some stuff here for you. You started football in Newcastle. Let's say at that time it was called soccer, of course. We were at old soccer, not new football yet. And I tell you what, mate, you're a Queenslander all through. Is that right?
No, I was born in Nelson Bay, so I'm a New South Wales guy, so it's always interesting.
Okay.
The state of origin is on here, because my 3 boys were born here in Queensland.
Yes.
And my wife's from Sydney and I'm from Newcastle, so we have 2 separate lounges that we sit on here.
So what happens when the state of
There has
origin...
been punches thrown.
So what happens in the state of origin place? Who supports who?
Well, that's what I'm saying. My 3 boys support Queensland, and me and my wife support New South Wales. So it's always a funny night at our place.
Unbelievable. I'd love to be there, mate, to film the show down there. I tell you what, it'd be fantastic. But I tell you what, mate, you were at Newcastle Breakers, and one of your friends was apparently what's his name? That Scotsman there. Of course, Kenny knows that guy as well. He knows him quite well. Laurie McKenna. Laurie McKenna. You played with Laurie McKenna.
Where's Laurie now? He's a great guy.
Well, Kenny can tell you that.
Laurie's the CEO. Is he CEO or general manager of Sydney Olympic?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I did hear that last week. Yes.
And he also does a bit with the Central Coast Mariners. He's not quite sure what it is he's doing there, but he's constantly doing things with them there. So he's Laurie's he's done everything. Lord Mayor of Gosford, he's
unbelievable. Have you read his book?
Mate. He's kissed more babies than the Queen.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
He has had like 5 lives in one. That man, I swear.
He must be a cat. He's got to be a cat, mate. Still got another few more lives to go. That's
and of course, he's a Mad Rangers supporter like me. So,
oh boy,
we go back a long way.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed his book. He gave me his book last time I saw him, which was a few years ago now. But I got him to sign it. And,
mate, you catch him up there. If you're off at Terrigal, mate, get down early. He's in there with all the old 70-year-olds doing the swim in the morning. So you'll catch him. You'll catch him there.
Is that what he does? Really? Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, great guy. What a character.
Dane, how is it that a young kid from Queensland? How did you get yourself to Newcastle Breakers? Did somebody say come and try out or something? Or you were playing up north? What were you doing up north playing the game first? How did you start up there?
No. I'm not from Queensland. I'm from Nelson Bay.
Okay, yes, I remember. Yes.
It's an hour from Newcastle, so I grew up there, and I represented Newcastle in all the rep sides and that sort of thing. So I already had those connections and played in the state team and did the tours overseas, all that kind of stuff we do with junior representation and stuff. So I only moved to Queensland 15 years ago. So.
Okay, so you're Navacostrian, what do they call them?
That's the one.
Novocastrian. Yeah, I got it wrong. There you go, guys.
Yeah, I forgot actually.
But let me say that you ended up. How did you end up at Newcastle playing the game there? What was the reason you playing there? What happened?
I grew up in Nelson Bay, which is all fishermen, and all the fishermen were from Serbia, Croatia, Greece, all that part of the world too. So they had an influence on our town to drive soccer as it was back then. And I used to hang out with all their sons. So it was just to become one of them things. It was a rugby town, but not for the younger ones. The younger ones, we all played soccer. So
that's amazing. That's an amazing. Tony, you got a question for Dane?
Yeah, mate. It's quite diverse. I've read up a fair bit about your history and your early stuff. I also noticed you played a small time for Adelaide City here in Adelaide. Who was that under at the time?
Yes, that was a very short stint under Zoran Matic. We didn't get along very well, and look, I put it down to my bad attitude at the time. So
Zoran didn't have a high score. Yeah, Zoran wasn't one to actually put up with anything, really.
and look, Zoran had a certain way of playing, and I don't know if you know, it was quite ahead of its time, because he used to go to the right fullback, and it would go into that pocket there, and it would always go to the left wing. And I just couldn't get it, And then what happened, it would just cross, the field. It was just a switch every single time, and that was the strategy. And look, I wasn't decent one for that. It was just, it was a bad match. And look, if it's funny when you look back. If I knew how I was coming across at the time, then it might have been a different story. But that's all part of the journey. When you're 20, 21, you think you know everything. I'm trying to teach my boys. I've got another son on a bit of a football journey. He's in Tasmania at the moment, but playing. I try and pass on all the mistakes I made. So let's try not.
You've got a good history, obviously, I guess, through many different clubs throughout your time. At what point did you find that music was, I guess, either equal or greater than football?
Yeah, that's a good question. Someone asked me that the other day. I kind of knew in the back of my mind that I think, and you'll know from your son's journey, you need a killer instinct for football, and I felt that waning. I really did feel that waning. The more I got, I guess it's a creative side of your brain takes over the sporting side, and I started to feel that happening. I enjoy writing more than going to training, and I used to hang out by myself and listening to musicians and that sort of stuff too. So I felt deep down that maybe I didn't have that killer instinct, just because, well, not as much as everyone else, just because I felt that I was starting to head more to a creative world. Sorry. And then I got two really bad knee injuries. So it's sort of, I think, whatever the forces are out there just said, look, man, if you're not going to make the move, we're going to make it for you. So two knee reconstructions later, then I actually had to finish.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, your knees may have suffered, but your hands haven't, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a bit of a sad time because I didn't know what was happening, and I'll play the song that I wrote about it many years later. But because when you're a footballer from a young age, all you have is that routine and that training and the banter and the dressing room, and then you'll go out on the weekend, whatever, and then you're back Monday doing that. And when you lose that, it's just like losing the rudder on a ship, It was a horrible time, to be honest, but a new life for me came out of it. So
a lot of players go through that, depressional stage where they are used to that routine, and then when they retire, I mean, I know Archie Thompson went through a terrible time, and now he's back into commentary. So I guess it sort of like saved him, because once you're part of it, that life, you're always a part of it in some retrospect. So, I mean, even you, Kenny, you'd probably know, like playing all over the place like you did all those years, and then all of a sudden one day you just finish.
Yeah, it's true. I was. I probably played a couple of seasons longer than I should have done, but I got to that stage where your body starts telling you, your mind or your heart's telling you, I want to keep playing and I want to keep doing the things I was doing before, and your body's telling you can't do it anymore. It needs someone to sort of tap you in the shoulder and say, look, I think it's time. I think it's time. If you don't realise it yourself, you've got to. You need someone to be really, tough love, and tell you, look, But that doesn't mean you stop playing. But I played. For me, I had been professional since I've been 15. I went to Rangers at 16, but I was going to other clubs before then. I'll be interested. I was going to ask Dane. How did you end up at Queen's Park Rangers? How did that come about?
There was a guy called Bobby Cameron, unfortunately passed away last year, and he came out from Queen's Park Rangers. He played in Newcastle, and they used him as a bit of a scout. And he saw me play a few times, and we just went over on a tour. In that team was Paul Foster, which is Craig Foster's brother. I'm just trying to think of any other football guys.
Yeah. I know Paul.
And we did a tour there, and they had a little look there, and they just said, would you be interested in coming back for a trial when you finish school? And I said, oh, absolutely. So went home and finished school in year 10 and worked as a petrol pumper to save up enough money to go back and have a trial. So, that's how that came about.
And
I think what happens, when it's in your blood, it's in your blood. I to be honest, I got to the point where when I stopped playing, I stopped playing for a year and never played. I never kicked a ball for 12 months. I was so, I don't know burnt out as to what to use, but I was so used to 4 nights a week training, travelling to the games. Yeah. And back in the day with the NSL, we used to, the away games, we'd leave on because the games were Sunday, we'd leave on a Saturday for the away game, fly Saturday, stay Saturday night, play Sunday, come back Sunday night, and we were part-time, so majority of us had jobs. So, and that was, I did that from sort of 77 to 86, 87, so it's nearly 10 years. And then, it comes a point in your life where, I think, for me anyway, I lost for probably 2 seasons, I lost the enjoyment. I was going through the motions. The things that I loved about the game, I stopped loving about the game. And then I fortunately got it back. Had 12 months off, and a few of the ex NSL boys, Laurie included. We ended up playing, and we had a Scotland team, and we played in the Ethnic World Cups, and we played in the amateur over 35. And I got the fun back in my game. It was great. But yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And that routine you talk about, I think, it's because you're getting those endorphins when you're training as well. So you start the day and it's a bit flat or whatever, but you finish the training and you're up there again. So you get so used to that, and when you lose that, I think that as well, on top of the camaraderie, on top of the the normality of going to training 4 nights a week and playing, just that routine. I think when that stops, I mean, I don't know. I hope there's something in place now for players, because there's nothing in our game, let's be honest.
Exactly.
You either went into coaching. I was never going to be a coach. I mean, I train kids now. That's different. But you either go into coaching, or then you're just out. And what do you do then?
Now, I want to ask you. Of course. Now, you, as Kenny said, you're at Queens Park Rangers. At that time, was that Premier League? At that time, I think that was Premier League. At that time, I think it was Premier League or First Division.
Alan Mullery was the coach.
Jeez.
I guess it was called. Was that First Division back then? They still had the artificial pitch.
Okay.
Well, that was
First Division.
That'd be First Division. Yeah. When was that? 1990, 91? When was that?
Oh, that's a good. No, this is in the 80s, because I was only 16.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Simon Stainrod, Terry Fennick, Steve Wicks, Peter Hucker was in goal. I mean, I was only in the reserves. Let's get. I was just trying to think. There was a little Irish guy, what's his name? He was really clever with the ball. There was a guy as fast as anything called Wayne Faraday.
Yeah, I remember all that. Yeah. It was interesting because they obviously QPR had the artificial pitch, and so did Luton Town. They were the two clubs that had artificial, and it was a big advantage against all these other teams, because back in the days, I mean, you were there, obviously, back in the original AstroTurf, the bounce to the ball and everything was completely different, right?
Oh, it's nothing like the Astro now. This is like rock with that artificial turf on top.
Yeah.
How someone never got killed, I'll never know.
Now, did you ever fall down on that turf and burn yourself? What was it like falling on it?
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't tackle me and Scott Oliver, I'm sure always laugh, we couldn't tackle a 4-course meal. I couldn't tackle the shit, but I remember I tried to slide tackle once, that was the end of that.
Oh, gee, on there.
The sheet was stuck to my leg for like a week of the night, so.
My God.
So like the indoor cricket pitches.
Oh, gee.
Like the turf, the artificial turf these days is amazing.
Yeah, big
now,
difference.
You also played at Plymouth Argyle. Now, what division was that? Was that second division or third division?
They were third division at the time. So what happened was I wasn't going to cut the mustard at QPR, and they said, look, I think you need to learn the English game, and had contacts down there. So they sent me down there for 6 months, and it's a long story. My visa ran out, and I fell in love with a girl, so I sent my visa to Home Office with no return address on it. I eventually got caught and was told I had 4 days to leave the country, so I got an extra 4 months out of it.
That's fantastic. So, and then you ended up in Austria?
Yeah, I came home for a couple of seasons, and then I had another friend. I don't know. I loved Europe, and and I actually really loved that weather. When I came back home, it was so hot. It was just because I got Irish skin, And I was just really in Europe, and a friend said, "Look, I've got some contacts out in Austria. Will you go out?" So I arrived there with a bag. I've always been up for an adventure. I mean, I got there and it was snowing. I couldn't open my bag. I had a T-shirt on. I'm like, this is going to work out. It's going to be the shortest trip in history.
Unbelievable.
I'm going to be back on the next plane tomorrow. So, I ended up staying for 2 years. So.
Now, of course, weren't you a rep for Nike as well or something? You'd worked for Nike?
Yeah, that was when I moved back from Perth after playing days over there and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, at one stage I was juggling, talking about trying to do these juggles in life. I was juggling a corporate career, and have a look at me, I don't look corporate, but I didn't, I was trying to do 2 things that I got away with it for quite a while. But, music on the weekends, corporate during the week. But I mean, going back to what we were talking about before, back in our day, that was normal. You played, but you had to work as well. So, I guess we're not spoiled in that sense. So, I don't know.
So Tony.
Yeah, did you still run your own academy, or is that just something that, because 2018, I think you started it. And I just wondered, did COVID put a finish to it, or do you still have digs in that?
Oh, is that for me?
Yeah, make him up.
Oh, sorry, yeah. We just got, I live in a place called Tamborine Mountain, which I don't know if you know, it's behind the Gold Coast.
It's beautiful.
And it's about a 45-minute drive. It's a town of 8,000 up behind the Gold Coast, about 45 minutes down to the coast. So I've teamed up with another guy who worked for the Arsenal Academy in Dubai and stuff, a good mate of mine. And everybody has to keep driving down the coast all the time. And as we know, petrol prices is just ridiculous. Yes. So we've set up just a little academy where we do 2 nights a week. And that's enough for me. It keeps my foot in, and I really enjoy watching the kids, the kids grow and that sort of stuff. So we do it tomorrow night's a futsal night. And the other days, there's another day where we just do outdoors, So it's just young ones up to about 12. I think 13 is probably ours. So, I really enjoy, because I don't think that the kids, they go to these academies and stuff that I've seen, but I don't think they're really taught technique. So mine's called Football Technique Academy. Yeah, more about the technical side of things and stuff. So
it's not taught a lot now.
Yeah, I get it. You're going to learn the academies and that sort of thing, but unless you're actually taught how to kick the ball, how to do that, so we do a lot of that sort of stuff. So,
I've got to ask you on Saturday. Did you go to Paul McCartney?
Here we go.
No, I wish I did. He played for 3.
Gold Coast. He was only down the road.
Yeah, I know. I was playing as well. But 82, he played for 3.5 hours.
Jeez.
Yeah, I saw him I went last week in Sydney.
Yeah, did you go? Yeah, really good.
Yeah. It was great because I went to the second show and he played. A Hard Day's Night and Coming Up. He hadn't played that for about 6 or 7 years. So we get 2 songs that he hasn't had in the set list. Certainly recently. And look, he's 81. His voice.
Oh, 81. Yeah.
He's 81. His voice is short, but 39 songs.
Jeez.
3 years. He's got kudos. It's brilliant. I love my music. Next to football. A mate of mine used to do tours. I used to do a bit of tour managing. I toured. I was
looking for a new tour manager.
Tour manager. Yeah, I did the 4 Tops, Temptations, and the Commodore.
Oh my God, Kenny! You never told Kenny. You didn't tell me this, Kenny. You never told me there were musos here, mate.
I spent 2 weeks sitting next to Levi Stubbs, who's my legend. Legend,
No wonder. This is unbelievable. This is a shock to me. You never told me this, Kenny. You should have told me all this stuff.
Yeah, mate, we did.
Kenny, we're chatting after the show, man.
Exactly, mate. We're going to start a band, Kenny. I'll tell you right now. You'll be managing straight away.
My mate, he brought out ELO. He brought
God.
The British Invasion. We had Doctor Who.
Oh my God.
We had a great time.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Sorry, mate.
I'm going to hear more of this story.
Yeah. We had. A very dear friend of mine is. I don't know if you know Gallagher and Lyle, Benny Gallagher. They were in McGuinness Flint and they were in Slim Chance with Ronnie Lane, and so they brought them out. I ended up having a couple of record shops.
I
did.
Let's swap numbers up. We're going to swap numbers up through Harry.
Absolutely.
I can't believe this, Kenny. You never told me this.
Sonny took me. He never really took me. He took my mate, and I was a +1. Dennis Hanlon, you'd know who Dennis Hanlon is, right?
Oh my God!
Took us to Los Angeles to the at that time it was the Universal Amphitheatre to see Barbara Streisand's comeback. Honestly, God,
right.
I was sitting next to. Who was I sitting next to? I was sitting next to Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins! My God!
Yeah. Michael Kamen, that does. He's passed away now, but he did. He obviously film music. It was just. I was living in a fantasy land for about 7 or 8 years.
Oh my God!
And here's me playing with the Coldstream Guards.
There you go.
Another music. We're all musicians here, Kenny. All of us. Unbelievable.
I just love my music. I'm a music fanatic.
Kenny, this was obviously after music.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah,
You know,
unbelievable.
even during football, mate, I just always loved music. I was just, mate, if the only thing I'm not into is really heavy metal, but I'll go and see anything. I mean, I don't think there's anyone I haven't seen.
Oh my God.
I mean, you know, whether it be Springsteen, whether it be Motown, whether it be a little bit of classical, whether it be Streisand, whether it be I saw Sinatra 3 times.
Gee.
You know, music to me was. It still is. I mean, I love the music.
Now, what you're just saying, Kenny, is exactly what Dane's gonna do for us right now. You picked the right. You picked the right momentum here during the show.
Should I do it? Talking about Springsteen, should I do the Springsteen version I do in my show?
Well, we'd love to hear that then. There you go. Guys, right now you're listening online the first time ever on Football Esquires, guys, and he's also got a #1 country hit through the country, guys. And of course, we're looking for all these agents out there. You can come to Kenny, you can come to me.
We've already got one. We've got a tour manager already.
Oh, we can't talk anymore, guys. Here is Dane Sharp, guys, footballer, songwriter, all sorts of stuff. Check it out.
Actually, I should sing my song. Is that okay?
Yes, of course. We'll hear your stuff.
Okay.
Something special for everyone.
This is most of my life story in 3 minutes. It's called Falls Into Place. I left home at just 16. Chase a ball, chase a dream. About 1,000,000 miles from home. Little flat with no TV. Old guitar, a broken knee. I found myself alone. Couldn't understand what was happening to me. How a broken dream come to set me free. Sometimes life it falls apart, stares you in the face. Sometimes life it falls apart, you feel it's all a waste. Sometimes life it falls apart, so it can fall into place. Played that guitar all day till the pain went away. Started singing to some friends, and as the years rolled on, playing pubs, writing songs, my dreams started all again. Finally understood what had happened to me, how that broken dream come to set me free. Sometimes life falls apart, stares you in the face. Sometimes life it falls apart, feel it's all. Sometimes life it falls apart, so it can fall into place.
Oh, yes, guys, that was Dane Sharp, guys, on the Football Show live. Well done, Dane. Mate, the crowd's screaming out here right now.
Sorry, I got a little messed up there and a little bit choked up because I know you guys are football guys, so I usually the audience has no idea.
That's fantastic, guys. I tell you what, mate.
No idea about what that means and stuff. So you kind of threw me off there, but it was a bit special for me. So thanks.
Very nice.
Fantastic. Now, I'm going to take you all the way back to, of course, we're going to go to Newcastle. Now, you have a bit of a connection with Craig Johnson, is that right?
Yes, I've spent a bit of time with Craig. There was a Liverpool academy at what's it called, Lismore. It's not there anymore. They moved it to Sydney. So he used to come up and we'd catch up, and I'd drive him down, and we'd spend the day down there and that sort of thing too. So, yeah, I mean, I guess when we were all kids, we wanted to follow Craig's story and be Craig, you know. So he's kind of a aloof guy. It's hard to find him sometimes, but I'd love to catch up again. But,
well, I mean, Mark Trenter's probably watching us tonight, and Mark,
Yes.
Craig's actually got it's in northern New South Wales. I think he's getting a stand named after him. Well,
yes.
Yeah, I've got an invite. I'm going to try and go up there.
Fantastic.
So
yeah, great.
yeah, so but I think most of the Newcastle boys that he knows are going to be there.
Yeah.
So,
And the encyclopedia of all football knowledge across the world, Mr. Roger Sleeman.
Oh, hang on. You know what we call it? Sorry, hang on. I'm going to stop you there, guys. The Oracle.
I know more about football than anything because I just bring Rog.
Let me tell you, Dane.
I've lost contact, and then after an hour, I'm back.
Every person on this show, when they come on, they have a nickname. He is the Oracle of the game in Australia. We call him the Oracle.
Oh, is that what it is?
The Oracle, and that's it. And he's watching right now. He's probably. I'm going to get you, Harry, for that. He's watching, mate. He's watching right now. He's an amazing person. Yes, he is.
Yeah,
the problem, Dane, now that you've set a precedent that you've sung a song, Kenny Taylor will be wanting to come on next week and sing a song.
Oh,
yeah.
Hello.
He's like me.
Well,
he's a bit of a music fan. You know.
Kenny,
I mean, actually, he's unbelievable. Man, he sends me, like I'll send a message within 20 seconds. He sent me something. Listen to this song. It's on Spotify, or he finds stuff that. I mean, I think I'm good at finding music. He's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And of course, Tony, yourself got something for Dane.
Yeah, quick one for you, mate. Just wondering, in the country scene, you ever come across Fred Smith much at all in your travels?
No, I know the name, but yes, no, I do know who you mean. No, yeah.
Wrote an incredible song called Dust the Verse Again out of Afghanistan. Yeah, just to bring you the army guys sort of thing. It's a very hard song to listen to, I guess you could say, emotion-wise, but brilliantly written and incredible catchy tune. Yeah. But I've watched a couple of your videos on YouTube, and quite enjoying it.
There's a couple of real shockers on there. It's always funny when you look back at stuff, isn't it? Yeah, that hair was cool. It's not cool now.
When when a mate of mine and I go away on our little hunting trips and stuff, we always play the country music stuff. So I might have to add a couple of tracks with your name on it.
Well, Spotify's going pretty good at the moment.
And now, Dane, you've got number one hit in the country scene in Australia. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was sitting at the bowls club just down the road. I saw it the other day, and I was just having a beer, and then a bloke came out, and he'd obviously had a few sherbets, And he comes out. There's a beautiful spot in the mountain you can just see, and I've got my own little hide and stuff there. I just have a quiet beer and watch it. And he comes out and he goes, "Yeah, when the sun goes down, eh?"
Oh, don't tell me.
And I went,
"Oh God!"
And then I just grabbed whatever I could find, and I'm like, "When the sun goes down in my hometown, blah blah blah," and that's where it comes from down the road.
Unbelievable.
They've kind of claimed that I wrote that song there, so that's great.
Now we actually, Kenny, what you said before about everybody, we've got to find all these players who played the game and start some kind of some kind of
boy band. I think start a boy band.
A competition. I saw like a Football's Got Talent. Football's Got Talent. There it is. I've got it. Football's Got Talent.
Jack Jervis is my roadie.
Really?
When I do karaoke, he does all my equipment.
Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, his wife, Elise, will be watching this. She should be killing it. My daughter will be killing herself. We went to karaoke one night.
Well, I think we start.
We've gone.
We could have a boy band, and we get us all together and
call ourselves the Socceroos. Call ourselves the Socceroos. There you go.
Yeah, but
I
we ended up. We booked into this big karaoke place, and Jack's lying there pretending he's not listening, and I'm singing My Way, and I actually changed the lyrics, and he bounced up and he says, "That's not the lyrics to that song." He's just so into it. I said, "Right, you're in charge. You're in charge. You're my roadie from now on. You connect me. You get my microphones organised. So if we go on the road, we'll take Jack. Jack will sort everything out."
Absolutely. Right on.
Oh my God. Getting back to football at the moment. Now, you played with a few guys at Newcastle Breakers at the time. Who was your coach at the time at Newcastle Breakers?
There was a guy called Jim Foley, and he coached me when I was growing up in the statesides and all that. So that was kind of how I got back in. That was my comeback. I already had one knee reconstruction. And then he got sacked halfway through, and Graham Jennings took over.
Oh, Graham Jennings. Oh, Kenny knows Graham Jennings very well.
Flash played with me for 5 years.
There you go.
There you go.
He's a dear friend of mine. He's a dear friend.
Is he still in Newcastle?
He sure is. Yep. Yeah.
He became a teacher. He became a teacher or something. Yeah.
Yes, he was a teacher. I think he's retired now. I mean, when Graham, when we signed him at Sydney Olympic, which was '79, I think it was. The president at the time, and we laugh about it now, but the president, who was John Constantine, God rest his soul, he's no longer with us, but he brought Graham down, and he was a solicitor. So Graham's first job was as a private detective.
Oh my
God! Me up,
oh my God!
So we laugh about it all when we catch up. But Graham's a dear friend, a wonderful guy. He's got a lovely wife, family.
Just an absolute gentleman.
Kenny,
what's your involvement in football now these days?
To be honest, I've did my tenure. I did grassroots for about 9 or 10 years. I did kids, I did academies, and the local where I live in the Northern Beaches in Sydney. I did my local club, Wakehurst. I did them. I did the girls and the boys from under 7 to about under 15s, and then I was doing some PISA stuff at my kids' private school, and that was pretty much for me. I'm an active fan, but I just sort of I prefer the grassroots end. I'm a big advocate that kids should be playing for free. I can't get this $200 and $400 and $500 and $1,200 to play football.
As well.
And the guys are sick of hearing me talking about it. But once we sort that out, the game will take care of itself. Yeah. Once we don't fund from the bottom up, then we'll start seeing a lot of single mums, single dads that their kids want to play and they don't drop out the game because we're a working class sport. And we've got to make sure we don't take it away from the working classes.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. And I think AFL did that really well.
They do. They're brilliant at it. It costs them relatively nothing to play. And and like you say, they fund from the top down.
Sure.
Yeah, you're spot on.
That's what happens. So your time at Newcastle, what was it like playing in the NSL at that time? Now, those years, what were those years you played, of course, Dane?
Look, what happened with me was that if you know that team, there was Warren Spink.
Oh, gee.
Who's not no longer with us. Rod Brown.
Ooh.
So I was kind of signed as a second string, right? and he said, it was pretty clever. They said, you'll be getting such and such a week. And I'm like, if you play. And I'm like, wow, that sounds pretty good. So I was doing the sums in my head, not thinking that surely Spinky or Rod Brown will get injured. Didn't get injured the whole time. So I didn't get on the park, to be honest. I got on the park with a couple of friendlies against Malaysia and that sort of stuff. So I got to travel everywhere, but I never actually got on. I never got injured, ever.
So what was the NSL like? Now you played. Of course, you were there at the NSL. Of course, at Newcastle. What was it like? The crowds in Newcastle. They were quite. At the time, I think they were quite large at the time in Newcastle. That was the sporting team of Newcastle. Of course, you had the Newcastle Knights as well, and you had the Newcastle Breakers. So what was it like at that time with people getting to the games?
Well, they had that little stadium that didn't play where they play now, and it used to be, it looked packed if it had 9,000 people in it.
Yes.
And I never once had 9,000, and it was absolutely packed.
Gee.
So they used to get the 6s and 7s. So it all, to me, those smaller stadiums always are better than these big empty ones. I mean, I'd go to Brisbane Roar all the time. They've moved back to Suncorp. But, they're doing a thing now where they're pushing people down below, and it looks a bit better. But, they did it in the States where you had to have a certain amount of tickets sold before you could even move to a bigger stadium. So,
exactly.
I just hate to see these big empty stadiums. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
To answer your question, I thought the atmosphere was fantastic.
At that time was very different.
Everyone's down on the hill having a beer and.
Wasn't I don't know, Kenny? I think wasn't Harry Michaels involved at Newcastle at some stage? I think you might have known that as well. He was involved there. No,
Harry was Wollongong.
Wollongong, the other side. Okay, yep.
Harry
exactly.
with Nick Theo when
Yeah,
they won
there were
it,
a couple
when
of
they won the
assists.
league.
Of
Yeah,
course,
they
that
won the
game
league.
that game in Perth. Oh my
But
God!
I was fortunate enough to play in the. We held the record with Sydney Olympic Newcastle, 1979. They shut the gates at 1:30. I mean,
Gee.
they announced 19,000, but there was 26,
Oh
27,000.
my God!
Easy.
What was the score?
We lost 2-0. Alan Vest was coaching then.
Oh.
Kenny Bowden,
Oh.
Graham Hayes,
Oh, those names.
Jimmy Green, Joe Sinkowski. They were all playing. Roy Drinkwater, Craig Mason. They were all playing at that time for Newcastle. Great.
Was that against Sydney Olympic?
Yes.
I was there with my
You were
dad.
there, yeah.
Really?
Well, you were a soft.
with my
I mean,
dad.
they had the kids sitting on pitch side.
Yeah.
It was that full. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got photographs that you know. When I look at the photographs, I go, they've just they've just made all the kids sit goal side pitch right around the pitch because there was no seats for them. You know, it was amazing. What a day! Yeah, it was.
Graham Hayes scored from memory.
Graham Hayes did score right wing, but
Yeah.
how he beat Gary
And he
Meyer
hit on
from
the
where he
ground
did.
and curled into the far corner.
Yeah, I still to this day don't know how he scored from there. And actually, and Hayes, he doesn't let us forget it either. By the way.
Just
He's moved back. He's moved back up to. I think he's moved back up to Newcastle from Melbourne.
gee, and was the cat playing that day? Was the cat playing that day, Kenny?
No, the cat was at St George at that time.
Oh God, that was too early for him.
I was sitting on my dad's shoulders because I couldn't see.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. But it was. They were great days. You know, I mean, KB. Then you pull up the caravans outside selling merchandise, orders for the players.
Unbelievable.
It was great. Alan Vest had it like a proper English First Division team. I mean, it was, really slick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some old programs out the back.
Oh.
And they're 50 cents each.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
there you go.
You've got to post. You've got to scan these, of course. You've got to scan these, Dane, and put them up on sites and things, even on our football site there as well.
No.
People
Okay,
put them up. Fantastic to scan and put them up. Exactly that, because we get a lot of people
I've got a bunch of stuff. I've got the signs. I'm not sure if there's that game or whatever, but I've got a bunch of signs stuff and all the KB lads and stuff.
Fantastic to get that stuff. And Kenny Bowden would be in those pictures as well and stuff like that.
He was the difference between winning games and not winning
Jeez,
games. He was an absolute genius.
Unbelievable, he was.
Absolutely.
I remember watching
I've
him.
never seen anybody chip the keeper like that, man.
Mate, unbelievable.
I mean, he had that. He showed you one way and went the other way, and you knew what he was going to do, but you just never stopped him. And then Sydney City signed him, and he was in a team full of. I mean, you had Kuzmina, Farina, him, Davy Mitchell, Joe Watson, Murray Barnes, John Stevenson, Alec Robertson, Kevin Mullen. Oh, it was frightening, absolutely frightening. Jim Cant,
Unbelievable.
frightening.
Unbelievable. Now, guys, I've got an ice cream scoop right now for you. I'll call it an ice cream scoop, Kenny. Now, we got information today about the second division, and of course, Dane, I spoke to you earlier about something, and then somebody sent me something really funny. And Kenny, you're gonna laugh at this, Kenny, and of course, you guys are going to hear something right now that is really strange. When some certain team pulled out about maybe 4 or 5 months ago, they came back in today with all the money. They came back in with all the money. And guess who it is? Guess who it is? Melbourne Knights have come back into the second tier. I call it NSL2. I call it NSL2 there, Dane. It's NSL2. And these guys have put the money up and we're playing. We're playing now. And there's more teams coming back and they're coming back. And apparently Heidelberg United have put their money where their mouth is as well. Someone has given them that much money. It's not funny right now. And they're straight in now. And so we're talking about next year now.
Harry, we need to stop drinking the Kool-Aid.
I know. I've heard that before.
Let me tell you.
Here we go.
Nearly 2 years ago, I told you this would never happen.
I know.
The reality is that it was never going to happen. They're on afterpay. I would love to know how many of these teams have paid the 500,000. I would love to know.
I
bet you hardly any of them have. I mean, it was a schmozzle from day one. You get more chances of Moses parting the Red Sea as this league getting up and running.
Kenny,
I'm a positive human being. I'm not a negative type of guy.
I know.
But there's nothing. 1 and 1 makes 2. It doesn't make 7. To run a competition like they're talking about, and to run it at the expense they're talking about, you need at least 5 million per season.
Yes.
No 1 year. You need to be doing it for 3 or 4 years.
Well,
and we know. I mean, I've God love them. I mean, Sydney Olympics, I'm my leader because of obviously great clubs in my heart. But they'll always be able to get money 1 year, maybe 2 years. But there's no way in the world any of these clubs can afford $5 million a year. Not a chance. And it was never going to happen in 24. And I've said it before. I would doubt very much. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think the A-League in its current structure will be around in 2025.
No.
So I don't think it's an issue. I think we'll have some sort of new structure. I mean, we always rise from the ashes, but the way that the competition's going, I mean, I just don't see even the A-League lasting to the end of 2024. Never mind 25.
It's very funny, Kenny.
Menth has been called in to try and sell Newcastle. They've been for sale for 3 years.
I know.
Why would Menth be able to sell it when they couldn't sell it before? All they're going to take is probably $700,000 or $800,000 in fees to do the same thing as we've been trying to do for 3 seasons.
Yes.
And we know that Sydney FC potentially have got financial issues because one of the benefactors are pulling out. We know Western United's got no money. MacArthur's getting funded by someone, and they're all on afterpay. They're paying as they go. I mean, how can you possibly run a clubs, any of these clubs, with the funding, with no TV, potentially no any TV money, and be a full-time operation? I mean, it makes no sense to me. I mean, it's going to end up like we had. I mean, the NSL was great. It ran its course. And 77 to 83 was unbelievable. When they regionalised it in 84, when they went north and south, it destroyed the competition for me. But it never became a true national league at that point. So I don't see. I cannot for the life of me seeing these potential 10 teams, and I don't believe there is 10 teams.
It's not 10 teams, more than that. There's a few more than that.
They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk.
Well,
like we've spoke about, will it be Melbourne Knights, whether it be the Brisbane bid. We had someone on talking about the Brisbane bid. They weren't even in there. They're all talk, no action. I mean, there's not an Adelaide team in it. There's no, really, and we're already November. And is that a surprise that nothing's happening in 2024?
Kenny,
absolutely not.
Yeah, what I will say is that they've announced on the 20th of November, the teams will be announced, and that's what they're saying. The teams on the 20th of November for 2025 April to start the NSL 2. We're going, of course, me and Tony going NSL 2, and of course, Dane, you know yourself, NSL was completely different to the A-League. You were in the NSL. You were involved a little bit in that competition. You saw more people turn up. You saw that many people turn up in the NSL in Newcastle. It was unbelievable. And you as a young kid, to see the Phillips League start in Newcastle, KB United, the first year, 1977. Did you go to those games at that time as a young kid? Your dad took you?
Absolutely. We used to get them all.
So
like I said, at the Sydney Olympic one when the Graham scored and stuff like that. So,
yes.
I mean, can that come back again? I'm not sure. I think the difference is, to Kenny's point, is that have they put them up? It's expensive, and are you going to get the crowds to get that money back? I mean, like how many A-League teams are making money?
No, I don't. A-League aren't making money.
I mean, Harry. I mean, let's be honest. How expensive is it to fly around now? Even if you get a reasonably discounted ticket to go to Sydney, Melbourne, how are you going to fly these teams to Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane?
That's my point.
I don't know. The last time you booked in a decent hotel, you don't get any change out. You don't get any change out of $300 a night.
I know.
Right?
I'll tell you one story. When I was living in Brisbane, right, and of course the Phillips League started. A guy from Brisbane City says to me, and this is funny, he said, Harry, we used to train. We were not professionals or semi-professionals. We got paid, and instead of having an airline, they used to drive us to Sydney, with a bus, get off the bus, play, and then drive back again.
Back on the bus. Yeah.
Did you ever hear that? Did you ever hear that story? The players used to drive up by buses to play. Dane?
From Melbourne,
from Sydney to Brisbane.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Sydney. And this was a guy from Brisbane.
It never happened to me, I've got to tell you. I mean, we flew. I mean, like I said to you before, we went because obviously the Phillips League or the NFL it became, we played Sundays, 3:00. And that's another issue we've got.
Yes.
We keep flitting around trying to play at 6 and 7 o'clock at night on a Saturday night when most of us are still playing over 45s, over 55s.
Exactly.
And we're having a couple of beers. You think we're going to go on a shower at 6:15, jump in a car and go into the city? No chance. The idiots have got the keys to the asylum. We keep saying that, They've just take it back. They keep talking about winter competing. We competed fine before in winter.
Exactly. Yeah.
Back in the PSL. We went from February to September, and we got good crowds in the beginning, the first 6 or 7 years. And football is a winter sport. It's not a 20, 28, 30 degree sport. It's a winter sport right throughout the world. I mean, other than South America where you play at altitude, but predominantly, if we went back to 3 o'clock Sundays, you'll get all the Saturday fathers and kids and sons, will potentially go to a lot of the games. Potentially.
Exactly what you said yesterday. And let me tell you, Mark Bosnich started putting up information everywhere saying we need to go back to winter, full stop. We need to go back to winter. The players are struggling. They can't play as fast as they can. It's too slow. The guys are tight on the ground. They've got to stop for drink breaks as if it's cricket. Those drink breaks they have sometimes, they stop them for about 5 minutes to have a drink. And that's the thing about this. So now Mark Bosnich is saying it's time to go back to winter.
Well, like I said before, we become gypsies. We start moving things around all the time. We don't want a base for a cup final. Don't give it to Sydney because it's Sydney. It can only happen in this country. I mean, someone gives us whatever it was, New South Wales, $2 million, whatever, to get the. I mean, I'm not a grand final fan. I mean, for me, first past the post is the league winner. Yes. And that's it. But if we're going to have a top 6, top 7, we still need to create a Wembley, a Hampden, a San Siro. That regardless of who makes the final, we travel and we make a day of it. Just like the AFL does, Melbourne every year, just like the rugby league does, it's in Sydney every year, just like the cricket does, but we've got to be different. We've got to wait to see who makes the finals, and then we'll move it to wherever that place is.
Hang on.
It makes no sense to me.
I've got information here from one of our members. This is coming from Perth, by the way. Joe Italiano has spoken, guys. This is the Oracle of Perth. They've got their own Oracle mate here right now. Let me just say, he says here, if it's wet people won't go to watch in the rain. That's speaking from experience. All games start at 3. How do you get to the TV coverage? I mean, for God's sakes, there is going to be TV coverage. Optus and SBS will want to get involved in this, but we'll see what happens in the future. That's all we can say. But
how does in England the Premier League you kick off at 3 o'clock?
Exactly.
TV coverage. I mean, and whatever Joe thinks, he's a fair weather supporter.
Yes.
And for me, fair weather supporters are no true supporters. Rain Haler say I used to practice Sydney Olympic 10,000. The stand held 200. There was 9,500 in the middle in the rain, and we played winter. Rain, hail, or shine. Supporters go. That doesn't weather with me. That's too middle class for me. A raincoat, take a hat. And that's part of it. That's why it's a working class sport.
That's right.
I mean, an excuse that the weather's going to be, you might get a bit wet. I went to see Harry Styles with my 2 kids about 6 months ago, and at the stadium, I got absolutely drenched and I had a great time.
Exactly. Now, of course, Kenny. Of course. Let's go to Tony for a sec. Tony, you used to go to those games. There was no roof. There was no roof. There was no roof on Highmarsh Stadium, was there, Tony? There was no roof. People were dancing in the rain. They were partying in the rain. What was going on? Well, they scored a goal. They didn't care about the rain, did they?
Well, I can guarantee
in the Eastern Grandstand, there were, before they built the new one, I remember I was there with Craig and the eldest lad Daniel, and I think it was Socceroos were playing Japan, I think, just in a friendly, and it was pouring with rain. I mean, it was absolutely coming down, and we were getting soaked. And Daniel said, "Oh, you think we better go, Dad?" And I said, "We can't get any wetter, mate." So we might as well stay here and watch. So, wet's wet. So he goes, oh, yeah, fair point. But the rain's only a condition. The sport, it's not going to stop me from going to a game. I'd be there regardless.
Mate, you watch the games, the old First Division games in England. I watch them. I say to myself, man, the rain, the mud, the ground is drenched. It's mud. They're playing in mud. People will put umbrellas and everything. What's going on here? They'd rather jump on the field with the mud with the players and play within the mud themselves. And here they are, the atmosphere, the players. Kenny, you've seen this stuff over there in Scotland. Come on.
I go back every year and I go watch a lot of games. I go to watch Rangers. I go to some English games. Mate, even in the stadiums with the roof, if the wind blows, the rain gets blown in, you still get wet. You still get wet.
Sideways.
Yeah, even if there's a roof on there.
God,
I mean, we're talking, Joe Italiano was talking about, you get wet in the winter. Well, what's the new, the new National League Division 2 is going to be in winter.
It is.
So what are we going to do with that? We're going to say, well, it's in winter, so basically we've discussed it before.
NPL.
It's an NSL revival.
NSL. I keep saying it's an NSL.
Marconi, Apia,
exactly,
Olympic,
mate.
United, Brisbane.
Exactly.
They're all ex, NSL clubs. South Melbourne, Heidelberg. So and there's nothing wrong. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm fine with that. But that's what it is. Let's call it what it is. Let's not dress it up, in sheep's clothing. It's
the NSL. It's the NSL. I keep saying it. I've seen it. And Tony, you and me are going to call it NSL too. Now, of course, Dane, will you go to those games? If there was a second team in Newcastle, how would you feel?
Look, I don't know. I'm more for having somewhere to go. You go to England, there's a professional team 5 minutes away everywhere you go. So I think the players have got to have somewhere to go. The ones that aren't going to make a league, what happens to them? So
correct.
I'm all for it. But I agree with Kenny about the times. I mean, we live quite away from Brisbane, but there's 8 o'clock kickoffs. Like there's no. We did it once, and I think we got back at 1:45 or something like that. So I'm all for maybe the 3, maybe a 5 o'clock, whatever. Then you can just a couple of beers with your mates, whatever, and then get home at a decent hour. Because I mean, if you want to take, you've got to be able to take your kids, right? We're trying to grow the game. If it's just too hard, and especially these days, people will just go to the club, watch it on the big screen, or watch it in their lounge room. So
Kenny,
that's why we've got to keep it all. That's why we've got to keep it away from a Saturday, because we're kids, we're boys, we're men, are all playing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all playing on Saturday. So and there's no way in the world that a dad's going to and we have a huge population of over 35s, over 45s, even over 55s. And they take their younger kids to the games. If they're coming in after having a couple of beers after playing and finish at 4:45, have a few beers, 5:15, get home, have a shower, it's 6:15 and it's 7:30 kickoff. They ain't jumping in the car with the kids and coming to the game. No chance.
You know what? Boy? You know what I miss about the NSL, Kenny? And this is what I miss about it. And you guys understand this. And everyone listening out right now, and this was the big catch at the NSL. When I'd walk into Middle Park, guys, at about 2:30 with my red and blue flag, and I'd be bringing it on my own there and waving it at the ground at the Middle Park. The one thing I wanted straight away when I walked in, the bloody souvlaki's, mate. I tell you, mate, and you know, Kenny, yourself, mate. When you walk into those bloody grounds, mate, that smell. I don't even know how you played during that smell as a player. What were you thinking as a player walking on the ground with that smell? You said, I'd rather go to the buddy bar and have a drink.
Well, mate, we never had any vegetarians in the team.
No way, mate.
I was blessed. I played with the two greatest teams for food, Olympic and Melita.
My God,
you're right.
You know what I mean? You can't. Mate, when I played at Melita, the women in the canteen, Doris and a couple of the women there, mate, after the game, they had a little bag for me full of pastizza.
Oh my God, mate!
Win, lose or draw, I had pastizza.
Oh my God, mate!
God love them.
Oh, and you know what? You go to the NPL game here, and you see South Melbourne play Oakley Cannons, and of course Tony knows Oakley Cannons quite well. And you know what happens after the games, Kenny? It's compulsory that all the players sit down and have souvlaki and everything. I'm sure Craig would have had all that stuff down there, mate. They filled their guts up for free. Remember, did you get some to yourself when they invited you in there as well?
Yeah, they were very, very welcoming at Oakley. They were bloody brilliant when Craig was there, when he first moved over there from South Australia, and they really looked after him. Even when they came here and played a cup game, Craig came down with me to watch that game down at Angle Park, I think it was. And yeah, they were awesome, the Oakley people. They really were. It's a great club. And but again, like all the Greek clubs in Melbourne, they put on a show, and the food's awesome. And even in South Australia, the Greek clubs. But you look at Adelaide Croatia Raiders with the Shavups and White City, and they put on the stuff. They all got good food and a lot of good old people volunteering to their clubs. And with their old style cooking and everything. It's, good old days.
Now, Dane, last week
I got a question.
Go on.
How's Craig's in the Middle East now, yeah?
Yeah, in Saudi.
Yeah, okay. So how hot are those games? We talk about Australia.
They play them all at night. So, they train at night as well. In the summer, it's, you're way over, you're looking at your 40s, and then probably at night, it's probably 32-ish. Not really. I guess the humidity's not that bad, but it's still hot. They played, got up this morning at 1:30 a.m. and watched the game, which they won 2-1. But when it went to the World Cup, of course, it was in November, so it was in that region's winter. But their winter's like 28.
Yeah.
So
but their stadiums are and aircon.
All the air that comes out is 9 degrees, so it basically keeps the temperature between 18 and 22 inside the stadium.
Okay.
It's brilliant. You got the air conditioners, they freeze. Sorry?
Is he enjoying his stay there?
Yeah, he's been there once before, 4 years ago. So his wife's going over very shortly with his son Ezra after the Socceroos game next week. But she's used to it. She's been there before. They stay in Compound 1, which is like an expats place. So all the families stick together. They're very tight, so there's a player there from Sparta Rotterdam at the moment where Craig played. He doesn't know him, but, he's living with him at the moment until he moves into his own place when Caitlin gets there. So, yeah, it's good. It's he enjoys it over there. There's some top players. He's already swapped players with swapped shirts with some, the best players from like England and around the world. And he had a good photo opportunity with Steven Gerrard last week as well. So I had a good chat with him. He's a Liverpool fan. So.
Just mentioning the Bangladesh game next week.
Any
of you people in Melbourne that are living there and want to take away anything, take away menu log, or you'll never be able to get a takeaway.
Oh my God!
Right, every Bangladeshi
Tony,
bloody electric bikes
Tony,
will be at the game. Drive me bloody mad. Like seriously,
Tony,
Harry and I will know.
We can't
Harry
get
and I will know as we're going.
We're not going to get. We're not going to.
Menu log and Uber Eats, you won't be able to get anything. If you ring up, it'll be engaged. You won't be able to get a delivery.
Kenny, I already found out what they're going to be wearing at the game, mate. Every player from Bangladesh are wearing their cricket pads, they're wearing their bats, they're lining up for the national anthem, and that's how they're going to dress up, mate, to intimidate the Australians with a different sport that they play.
I'm going off at a little bit of a tangent. I've got to ask Tony what he thought of the Adelaide Melbourne victory game the other night. Like my observation. The young lad, the young lad,
Irukande.
Yeah, I thought he was an absolute shocker. I thought they should have taken him off. It was painful, and I thought it was disgusting what he did, rolling around like as if he broke his ankle to get the boy sent off. That to me was just unacceptable for me. I'm old school, but I thought the first yellow card was soft anyway. But the second one, the minute he got sent off, he bounced up and he was fine. But the interesting thing for me was at half-time, when the half-time whistle went, the Japanese centre-forward ran to him aggressively. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He was really unimpressed.
Yeah, Hiroshi, yeah.
Yeah, he was not happy at all, I suppose kudos to Popovich, because he obviously, had told the boys, show him inside all the time. And they just kept pushing him inside and he kept losing the ball. He did absolutely nothing, And if it was me, if I'd have been the coach, I would have taken him off. I would have substituted him because it was painful to watch for me. I don't think he did him any good the other night. I mean, I know they got a 1-1 draw, but they never deserved it, mate. They were well at the hunt for me.
Well, they gave Farnaroli man of the match. I thought Gauch was man of the match by far.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have been 4-0 down at half time if it wasn't for Gauch.
Oh, mate, absolutely, 100%.
He's got to be in the next Socceroos squad.
Yeah,
he's phenomenal. You've only got to look at Eugene Galekovic, though, as our goalkeeping coach, and you look at the production line of goalkeepers we keep putting out year after year. I mean, right from our number 1 down to our number 3 goalkeeping, they're all in some national squad at some point.
Yeah,
they're brilliant. And Galekovic, I mean, is an absolute genius and a great goalkeeping coach. Yeah. So we keep turning them out. But yeah, the one thing is. The kids have got to realise that it's a psychological game as a physical game, and experienced players are going to play you. Any weakness you've got, they're going to exploit it. And so they can't say they've got to take it easy on kids. If kids want to play upper level and play in an adult's game, you've got to become an adult because otherwise you won't survive.
He's learned the lesson really quickly because, mate, honest to God, he was rolling around. I mean, unbelievable. He was rolling and rolling and rolling. I thought, he's broke his ankle. And when I saw the replay of the trip, and that's all it was a trip. And then when the red card came out, he bounced up. I hate it. I hate it with a vengeance.
There was one good thing. He came back, I think Channel 9 may have done the interview when he got off the plane at Adelaide Airport. They interviewed him, and he actually said the right things. He says he's got to contain that aggression. He's got a lot to learn. So yeah, I mean, obviously he was given a talking to, but he said all the right things, and as long as he sticks to that script, because he's got a lot to learn. It doesn't matter how good you are with your feet. 85% of your football is up in your head, not in your bloody legs.
But I think from a coaching perspective, when a coach sees a young player at, what is he, 16, 17? 17. When you see he's really struggling, and he was really struggling when he got the ball. I don't remember once I'm really doing anything when he was on the ball, and they kept pushing him inside, and the times when he should have played the ball across to the Japanese lad, he never played it. He tried to shoot, or he tried the free kicks and whatever, and you could see the Japanese boy getting really frustrated with him. The coach should probably have. That's when the good coaching comes in for me. He should have said to him, "Look, you've got to start letting the ball go, or I've got to make a change here," because I think. Adelaide was sort of playing with 10 players for a long period of time. Yep. He wasn't bringing anything. I mean, I know the euphoria about the week before, and he obviously he's a fantastic talent, but it comes a time when you've got to look at it and say, nah, it's probably not today. Today's not his day.
Yes.
They play them, and as I say, that creeping into his game with the playing, with the getting pretending to be really hurt, and it's getting players sent off. The boy gets sent off for nothing. It was soft. Even the first yellow card. it was like a trip. You wouldn't even say it was a tackle or vicious. But certainly the second one was they were running across each other, and he sort of just clipped them. There was nothing in it whatsoever. And it spoils the game. It brings in 10 players. Yep. And a bit like, I don't know if you watched the Arsenal Newcastle game. The goal that Newcastle got, it was a dead set fit. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but if you're watching a game like that and you get it was a deliberate push on the back of the defender, and VAR never gave it. It's beyond belief.
I did see that on the highlights. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Beyond belief.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. The worry is when you see that with VAR, it brings a lot of people, and a few of us have been talking about gambling in sport. It worries me when I see things that are totally obvious in VAR, and VAR should pick it up. They've got other cameras. They can't miss things like that, and they don't give it. You just wonder whether illegal gambling's keeping it into the game. It really do.
The young guys have got to realise their body language gives everything away to experienced defenders. And during that game, some of the young guys' body language when things weren't going their way was just, shrug shoulders, heads down. You think, oh my God, we're down to 10 men like that. And that's one thing that's got to be coached out of them. They've got to be very smart with what they show and what they hide. Very easy to read.
Yeah, let me bring Dane. Dane, you're coaching a lot of juniors. How do you teach them to keep their composure when you see them get aggressive on the ground at training, or they're having a go at somebody? How do you contain them as kids?
Yeah, I think you just got to nip it in the bud as quick as you can, and because I think the longer it goes on, it becomes a habit and they don't even know they're doing it. And I totally agree about the body language thing. There's nothing worse when a player drops his head or he's having to go at someone or whatever. So you probably won't see that in places like Germany and that sort of stuff. They're machines, and you go a goal down and it's no different. We just turn the machine back on and off we go with the computer. So yeah,
they won't tolerate it over there.
Nip it in the bud, I think, is probably.
And the funny thing you said that, Dane, in Germany, Irakunda's going to Bayern Munich. Is that right, Tony?
That's the rumour, but I haven't heard anything concrete that it's happening. He can't go anywhere till he's 18, which is going to be about June. Yes. So he'll be here at the end of the season, I gather. But then, because they can't go because they can't get a work permit or anything like that. So he's got to wait till he turns 18. But over in Germany, they won't put up with anything like that. Mate, he's going to have to get out of his game before he goes, because he'll be there a few months. He'll say, "See ya."
Yeah.
Particularly when you got Harry Kane, he turns up, he goes there and he starts some bullshit around Harry Kane. Oh, gee, I can imagine the bullshit too. So that's the thing. So yeah, that's right.
Tony, is that the law? Is it that they've got to be 18 before you get a work permit? Is that?
Yeah. Well, it's only because when they turn 18 over there, because if they're under 18, they can move overseas if you've got, I guess, residency of that country or got one of your relatives.
Yeah.
But they have to move, or that was the ruling. They have to move for reasons other than football. It's amazing how a lot of these people get to go over there for football. But there's ways around it. But generally, when you're 18, it's just easy. So but it depends whether they've got to have some ties to the countries they're going to, either citizenship through your parents or grandparents, and then if it's other than that, you've got to have a work permit.
Apparently, what Angelo Picker spoke. How Angelo? You probably listened to the show tonight, but Angelo told me there's 3 kids there that are 16-year-olds in Italy, and their parents have to stay with them. At 16, they've got to be there to stay with them to be able to go overseas. Or otherwise, if their parents can't go overseas, they've got to be 18 to move overseas to play or start training at a club there. That's the thing. So lucky for these kids, there's 3 of them, and they don't even want to play in the A-League. Would you believe this, Kenny? These boys don't want to play in the A-League. They want to be overseas.
The world's gone soft. I mean, Kenny Taylor's probably watching. Kenny Taylor went from Saltcoats to Ipswich Town at 16. You're an apprentice. You sign an apprenticeship. Just like you normally do. You're away from home. I came to Australia when I was 18. Mm-hmm. Literally. The other side of the world. We're sort of creating a soft society. We've got to be careful. That we don't put too much cotton will ruin our kids to a certain extent. I know it's a different world, but the reality is that. When you go overseas, guys like Craig Johnson, guys like Cahill, guys like Vidukas, they all left at a very early age to go overseas, and it takes a special, Dane raised it earlier on about the mentality about, if you're really focused and that's what you want to do, and, they're the ones that make it, they drive themselves. If you've got other interests, or I don't know whether I'm really totally focused on that, they won't make it. At the top level I'm talking about, guys like, as I say, the Kuhls. Kuhl was at Leeds United at 16. He's 50. But not only that, Leeds had a lot. They had about 4 or 5 Aussie boys there.
Yes.
Jason, I think Jason Burns.
Burns, that's right, yep. And that's Jason what Alan Sutton said that, yes.
Yeah, and Milosevic. They had a few. They had 4 or 5, and they were all about the same age. And what happens? Dale probably had the same experience. You get put in digs with a landlady, and and they feed you, and and you learn, and you train every day, and you're back, and they keep an eye on you, and the landlady's checking you're in bed at a certain time, and that's part of life and part of growing up.
And
responsibility.
And Kenny, also, what was Alan Sutton saying? Apparently Ned Zelic was there for a little while. Ned Zelic, I can't believe this.
they wanted to sign Ned, and for some reason they never signed.
Crazy.
I actually spoke to Robbie Slater about that the other day. I was asking Robbie about that, and because I think he went to Lens instead for a little while. He went to France for a little while, and then Belgium. But I mean, Leeds seem to get a lot of the Aussie boys, so look. I think you're focused. I mean, Craig was a perfect example. I think it was 15 when he went to Middlesbrough. 15 and a half. On his own.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like no one anyway.
They don't even have to scrub boots anymore. The young ones don't.
Jeez.
No, when I was an apprentice, you had to clean the first boots. Yeah.
Thousands of boots.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Boy. Oh boy. Dane,
That's how we knew about his boots, wasn't it? Craig Johnson cleaned that many boots. He bought out his own.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He saw the boots and he wanted to make an improvement after he cleaned that many. It wasn't funny.
You got to know him.
Oh God, mate! There's a video up of him. There's a video up of him. I've got up there for some reason. He's looking at the Adidas boots, saying he can prove. It's actually there's a video up there on our former supporters site. Now, Dane, you've been catching a lot of.
They made a big mistake with the Predator boots. They got Roll Paris to advertise.
Unbelievable, mate! Oh, I can't believe. Jesus, Dane,
I had to slip that one, and I've been cleaning up for
God. Dane, you've coached a lot of kids. For how long have you been coaching now? And have you seen some of your kids go forward in at clubs and move on to bigger, better things? Have you got a few kids there?
My son Indigo's actually gone to. He was at South Hobart.
Jeez.
Just signed a contract today to go to another NPL side.
Fantastic.
He's a goalkeeper though, so we all know goalkeepers. He's a loose cannon. He's a total nutter, but I'm very proud of him. He's done very well. There's some kids that have gone on to play NPL down on the coast and that sort of stuff too. So I don't pretend like we're a small club on a mountain. So if anyone's got ability to have a chat to the parents and say, look, you do need to go down to your Gold Coast Nights and that sort of thing. Like we can't get them to that level.
Fantastic. So you're actually
feeder clubs and the bigger clubs, So.
The best thing about it is you're developing, and your development is fantastic because, mate, you know the story here about developing kids and getting them to go into further, and we know what's going on. They don't want to stay in Australia. As I said, Angelo Picker, one of our hosts here, he says to me, well, Harry, I've got these kids. They don't want to play in Australia. They want to play overseas. Their parents are wealthy, so they're staying with them in Italy. I can't believe this. What a life that is for parents, Kenny. What a life that is to watch their kids make it and be there on a holiday just to watch their kids. Unbelievable, Kenny. What, it's amazing.
It must be very difficult if you can't afford it and you've got a very
exactly.
son. I mean,
Exactly.
I mean, the elite players, are getting so much money that, their contracts, are covering. Their parents are getting, well looked after. But that's in the elite. That's not if you have to go and play with Stockport or Lincoln or that doesn't happen.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna go out with a song tonight, guys. With of course Dane Sharp here, guys, who's got number one hit. He's a footballer, player. He's done it all in entertainment and in football as well. It's amazing that we've had him on tonight, and his story is amazing. Playing in the first division at, what we're talking about. I'm losing it right. Mate, I'm so amazed about the things that we've talked about tonight with you, Dane, in the entertainment industry, in the football, soccer industry, and also playing in the first division in England for Queen's Park Rangers. So, mate, thank you for coming on tonight.
We need to get this boy band together, Harry.
I think we have to do this thing. And, of course, I rang up Duncan this afternoon. I couldn't get...
talented, sure.
We're going to do this. The football's got talent, mate. We're going to try and do something, Kenny. We're going to do this. Football's got talent, mate.
Sounds good to me, mate. Let's
talk about it when we get there. And also, let me say before.
Tour manager as well, so he's going to take us out on tour.
Let me say something about tomorrow's night's show. This is very, very serious. Apparently, tomorrow night football. This is out at Melissa's Cafe at Templestone, Victoria. We are speaking to George Katsakis, former Heidelberg United coach. Of course, there's a few little things that have happened to him, but we want to talk to him about his what he's done in the game. Of course, all the finals he's won, all the championships he's won, all the positive stuff. And apparently, he's had offers for other clubs. He'll be talking about that tomorrow night as well. And one of them is Melbourne Knights. Let's see if George takes a position at Melbourne Knights. We'll see about that too. But a great coach. And don't forget, if you're going to come there tomorrow night, please, guys, make sure you're ring up and book a seat because there are going to be quite a few people down there. At 7:30, the show starts with George Katakis. There will be a lot of people at that cafe. If you're looking at coming, you better book your seat. So this is going to be a studio audience just about. It'll be amazing. So, guys, and don't forget something special happening in Sydney next week, Kenny, of course, next Monday. We're going to be doing something in Sydney next week, and that'll be advertised by Wednesday this week, and you're going to find out about the 74 Socceroos.
Yeah.
It's going to be an amazing day in Sydney.
And the 75 Matildas.
It's going to blow up in Sydney big time. We're going to be happy to be there with everyone. That's the thing too. So take it away, Dane. Thank you for joining us tonight, mate. Fantastic. Take it away.
I've got a son called Thierry, and I promised to put him on here, but he's...
That's not Thierry Henry, is it?
Well, the funniest thing is it's kind of corny. Everyone thinks that I named him, but my wife named him. I didn't.
Really?
Thierry Shaw.
There you go.
My son's called One Way Ride.
There you go.
There's a railway line running through this town. There's only one stop. There's no turning around. We can stay here and just wander forever. Take a chance and get on together. One way ride. So one way ride, we can take it together. I can hold you forever. See where it takes us, it's a one-way ride. Sun's sinking down, radio's on, waiting for you, while it's playing that song. Please don't let me sit here forever. Take a chance to get on together. One-way ride. So one-way ride, we can take it together. I can hold you forever. See where it takes us, it's a one-way ride. Don't take the chance. Ooh, and we'll never know. Come on, girl, let's just get on and go. One-way ride, we can take it together. I can hold you forever. See where it takes us, it's a one-way ride. So one-way ride, we can take it together. I can hold you forever. See where it takes us, it's a one-way ride. So one-way ride, ride. It's a one-way ride.
Come on, guys. Everybody give a hand, please. Come on online even. Come on, guys. Here you go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Dane. Thank you, gentlemen. Don't forget footballers.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Dane. Don't forget, guys. Tomorrow we're at the Highball former coach, guys. George Katakis. Well, I've lost it there, guys. Don't forget, guys. We're there tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. at Melissa's Cafe. Good night, guys. Thank you for joining us at Footballers. Good night, guys. Thank you.
See you, mate.
Thanks, guys. Good night, guys. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Hi guys, Harry Sunday here, letting you know that there's a apparel company that supports the game that you love. It's called There Is Only One Football.com, guys. They've got all sorts of stuff from caps, t-shirts, water bottles, all sorts of accessories, even for your mobile phone. All that sporting stuff you can wear anywhere you want to wear it, guys. That's right. And don't forget the website it's on, thereisonlyonefootball.com.
There is only one football.
still